Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group, I warmly welcome all our distinguished guests, speakers, faculty members, researchers, students, and participants to Day 2 of AGROVISION 2.0, 2-week international capacity building program come training on AI-driven agriculture technology, smart skills, and advanced agri techniques. Yesterday, we had a wonderful start to this international learning journey with the insightful deliberations from eminent experts. Today, we continue this momentum with another exciting lineup of distinguished speakers who have made exceptional contributions in the field of agricultural research, extension, gender studies, agribusiness, and entrepreneurship. We are delighted to have all of you with us this evening and look forward to another enriching session filled with knowledge, inspiration, and meaningful interactions. Without further ado, let us begin today's proceedings. It is my great honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed guest of honor for today's session, Professor Dr. N. Manikanda Bopati. A distinguished academic leader and renowned scientist, Dr. Bhupati has been serving at Tamil Nadu Agriculture University since 2004 and has made remarkable contributions in the field of plant biotechnology, genomics assisted breeding, and crop improvement. His pioneering research integrates next generation sequencing, high throughput genotyping, and bioinformatics to enhance crop productivity, stress tolerance, and disease resistance. Sir has successfully secured more than 25 externally funded research projects worth over rupees 24 crore and has played a key role in developing 5 high-yielding climate-resilient crop varieties. He is also a prolific scholar with 9 books and more than 150 scientific publications to his credit. Furthermore, he has mentored numerous undergraduate, postgraduate, and research scholars, contributing significantly to the development of future scientific leaders. Today, we are truly privileged to have such an accomplished scientist and visionary academician with us. On behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and all the participants of AgroVision 2.0, I extend a warm welcome to Professor Dr. N. Manikanda Bhupati, sir. We are grateful for your presence and eagerly look forward to your valuable insights and inspiration address. Thank you, sir, and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Nega. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, just also confirm whether you can see my screen.
Okay.
Full screen? Can you able
Yes,
to
sir,
see?
it is visible.
Hello?
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Thank you all. Thank you all and good evening. This is, I guess, this is the second day of this AGRIVISION 2.0, in which I am going to focus on what are the biotech products that are available for the agriculture production improvement through the precision technologies that are useful in the production improvement in India as well as elsewhere in the world. So we believe this is the core pillar of the AgriVision 2.0 because without any improved varieties or cultivars, it's not at all possible to imagine how we can improve the productivity under these changing climatic conditions. You may have seen the climate vagaries now and then, which critically affect the productivity. So we cannot imagine or speculate how we can avoid such climate changes. But all what we can do is breed better varieties, right? So that is the best thing we can do in this current scenario to meet out all the demands that we propose in the whatever may be the visionary documents. So my presentation will be focused on 3 different things. First, I will enumerate what are the genomics tools that are helpful to precisely manipulate our target crop varieties, especially using the AI models. And I will also focus on other tools that help us to improve the accessories of the agricultural production components like microbiome and so on. And then finally, what else the advanced tools we have in the store that help us to improve this productivity, especially crop productivity under these changing climatic stresses, right? So let me just first focus on what are the genomics tool that we have used for this purpose. Historically, we used to have or breed better varieties using the phenotypic traits. But after sometimes, that is when we found it, the regular traditional breeding methods, it's not possible to have such speed as well as, I mean, rapid as well as precise breeding materials. They are looking for some other alternatives which will supplement or boost the regular breeding program. So here comes the role of molecular markers, which has been focused during 2025 and so on. So these molecular markers have been shown as a supplement to the regular breeding program during the selection program. So we could able to select whatever a trait of interest, whether it is agronomic trait or a abiotic stress tolerance like the drought tolerance or salinity tolerance, or biotic stress resistance, whether it is a bacteria or fungal pathogen or virus. So we all know that the markers can be linked to those traits. But after some times, it has been noticed that few of them are not directly linked. So we need something else. Like what are the other ways to improve the uh, identification of molecular markers that link to the trait of our interest, whether it is agronomic or abiotic or biotic. So here comes the role of the different genomic tools like physical sequencing, physical genome sequencing, and then using those sequence information for the QTL as well as marker identification. And then here again, we employed to use the large phenotyping data. That means high throughput phenotyping data that are derived from different kinds of AI-based equipments like uh, drones or the unmanned vehicles and so on. So these are all used to collect data from different locations as well as seasons. Previously, what we used to do, the manpower has been used to measure the trait. For example, the yield trait, number of grains or seeds, and so on. So this it leads to error introduction. So to avoid such kind of things, there is a large scale phenotyping or high throughput phenotyping tools using the drones and other automated things. And this all helped us to improve the final molecular marker identification. So that is the thing that we have used as of now. And we are entering into the another leap in the name of genomic selection. So I will spend much more time on this genomic selection in the subsequent slides. So now my point here is, so we have gone away from those traditional selection based on the expression of the trait, whether it is a superior agronomic trait or abiotic stress tolerance trait or a biotic stress resistant traits. Now we are using markers which are not affected by the environment or season or the location, so that we can select the large numbers of breeding plants, breeding materials in a short span of time. So that is the new pillar introduced during this AGRIVISION 2026 onwards. And we have another important limitation in this when we use such kind of data. So as I told you in the previous slide, there is a huge amount of data that are generated through either genome sequencing or through the large numbers of phenotypic data. And that too, we have lakhs and lakhs of breeding materials. So that are screened under large numbers of population of environment, I mean the target environment. So what does it mean? We are generating data points that are unprecedented with the previous year's data point generation. Again, because of the advancement in the breeding generation improvement, like the technology called speed breeding, we can generate more and more numbers of data point, not only from the already existing breeding material, but also from the other components that are available in the germplasm or gene banks. So that means we are generating huge numbers of data that we call it as a big data. So that data needs to be analyzed, which is not at all possible using the human manpower. So here comes the role of AI-based models. So there are huge numbers of model are keep on developing, because there is no single model that can fit to analyze all the data. So we have separate genomic data. Again, the omics data, we have different kinds of omics tools like genomics, transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, ionomics, and so on. So all these things has to be converged, and then we have to make a genetic network. So that cannot be possible by dealing with the normal manpower. So to deal such kind of things, there are several kinds of network modeling has been developed, like AlphaFold 2 or just a minute. AlphaFold 2 or the DN and GB. And so these are all help us to improve the selection efficiency. And that's what now we call it as a smart breeding platform. So this smart breeding platform require the input requirement is the huge data point that we have generated through either sequencing as well as phenotyping information. So that will help us to identify a elite line that has a novel loci as well as the excellent haplotype, and then the all best ideal combination. So this help us to develop a improved line, so that can be released as a breeding material or cultivar that can handle any kind of stresses that we used to have. Just right. The next one is target prediction. I mean, so far these traits have been identified that are governed by polygenic trait. But majority of the traits, are not majority, some few of the traits are controlled by very single and major genes. That means their expressions are critical to provide such kind of traits. For example, in rice, we can name aroma traits, right? The aroma that are very much useful or desirable for biryani making using that particular rice line. So it is caused by one particular gene. So just targeting that gene alone and then manipulating it according to the requirement of our thing. So in which stage we need, which kind of grains we need to express. So there are some technology now available very precisely. We can manipulate it, that we called as genome editing, or since it is editing the particular part of the genome, that is that precisely in the gene itself, by causing either knocking off or knocking in. We call it as a gene editing technology. So not we are vaguely we are saying genome editing. Now we have gene editing technology. So this is also available to very precisely make whatever point we need, like the aroma, as I said, or the color of the grain, or color of the fruit, or sometimes if you want to increase the shelf life. So just making or manipulating, tinkering a single gene is sufficient enough to do that. And for that, we are using these very precise gene editing tools and all. So this is the next step that has been introduced. And of course, though we have very prominent example in this case of gene editing, but majority of our agronomic traits, especially the biotic and abiotic stress tolerance or resistance, they are all polygenic trait. That means there are a number of so many numbers of genes governing that particular trait at very smaller level. So in such cases, we cannot manipulate using the gene editing. So we need to look for some other technology. So here comes the role of genomic selection. So instead of focusing on only one gene at a time, so here we are focusing the entire genome. So whatever may be the number of genes that are governing that particular trait of interest, that can be easily identified by following this genomic selection model. Actually, this concept of genomic selection, we borrowed it in plant breeding through the from the animal genetics. So first genomic selection has been successfully shown in the animal breeding program. So that concept we extrapolated to the plant system, and now we could able to identify the same kind of training population in which we used to establish what are the best genotype and the corresponding phenotype. So usually, as I told you, the each part of the genome has the ability to contribute some phenotypic contribution, I mean percentage. So in such cases, we can pull all the genomic segments that are collectively or cumulatively going to give that particular thing, so that we can select the best desirable plants based on the genomic estimated breeding value, GEBV value. So this is what we used to collect or select the particular plant among the 1 lakh plants. So which one having the best GEB value? So that will be selected very easily by just looking the genomic data alone. We need not screen them under different environment, different season, or different stress screening methodology. So just selecting only one plant based on the genomic information is sufficient enough. Whether it is going to be perfectly perform well under this climatic condition, changing climatic condition. So that can be predicted very early. So that's why we call it as GEBV, genomic estimate of breeding value. And this is going to be the ruling breeding method in the next decade. So all those days which we have used only single marker or large numbers of progenies, those days have gone. So now next 5 or 6 years, so this is going to be thumb rule in the breeding program and the selection of the better breeding lines. So the next pillar I would like to focus is on transgenic cultivars. So far, what we have seen, or in the past 2 or 3 slides, I have told how to manipulate the traits and the governing genes that are present in the same plant. So, but most of our traits are not present in the same donor line. And again, if even if it is present in the different species, because of the crossability issues or incompatibility during the crossing program, plant breeding program, we used to find very difficult to transfer the trait of interest from the wild species to the cultivated species. Not only that, some of the unique traits and the genes that are governing the trait are present in unrelated organism. For example, in animal, some of the animal may be showing resistant to some of the biotic stress, but that gene may be absent in the plant genome. So if we want to transfer animal or any other organism, microbial organism, to the plant breeding program, I mean the plants that we intended to breed, then regular breeding program will not be used. So here comes the role of very much known that or established that it is present in somewhere else, not in the plant. That gene can be obtained, and then we can produce a transgenic plant. We can transfer that gene from the foreign organism to the crop of our interest. So this help us to know, help us to improve the crop productivity even under a very challenging climatic condition. So such kind of transgenic crops we generally called as genetically modified crops, and there are huge numbers of genetically modified crops are in the market. And the first one that we have had is in the tomato, and now we have genetically modified crops almost in all the food crops that we consume stable, including food and fruit crops. And but in India, unfortunately, we are having some regulatory issues. So we have only one kind of crop that are approved as a genetically modified crop in India. So that is called BT cotton. So which has been developed to resist the important and devastating pest called bollworms, right? So these bollworms can be controlled by using a particular genetically modified crop called BT cotton crop. So which contains genes which that we use the crystal synthesizing genes, crystal protein synthesizing gene, simply called BT cry protein. So that has been transferred from the Bacillus thuringiensis, a bacteria, and then to the cotton. So this helps us to understand and improve the cotton against this biotic stress, especially these bollworms. So likewise, we have so many traits that has been expressed, but for want of time, I just restrict to only to the mentioning the genetically modified crops such as soybean, rapeseed, sugar beet, which is already in cultivation in almost 20% of the global countries. Of course, in some of the European, including as well as some Asian countries, including India, it is not cultivated except cotton in case of India. So there are some regulatory as well as bioethics issues, so that which need to be addressed separately. So my point here is the AGRIVISION 2.0 can be strengthened when we employ transgenic cultivars, especially when there is no scope when we are using genomic selection or marker assisted selection using our germplasm as a donor material. So that is the point I want to make it clear. So the next one is even if you are not able to do such transgenic crops, transgenic research in India. So it is approved that we can have synthetic cellular biology in India. That means if you want to express some of the protein in using the plant as a biofactory, then this can be done in India using the different kinds of getting approval from the different kinds of regulatory bodies. And one such synthetic cellular biology is the cell-free system. So this cell-free system help us to produce whatever product we want, mostly protein product. Either we can use the whole plant cell using the plant tissue culture, or you can also use the synthetic cell like the artificial cell that are available nowadays to synthesize those things. And then we can also make cell free instead of, if you are not interested whole cell or artificial cell due to the regulatory mechanism, just using the cell free mechanism, so that we can perfectly control and engineer the activity that we are, cellular activity that we need, that are also taking place in the natural cell. So this is also possible, and it is going to be the next futuristic technology in AGRIVISION 2.0 that we expect in the near future. The next way of manipulating or controlling all the stresses that we encounter today, starting from the drought, salt, thermal, or herbivore like the biotic and abiotic stresses like bacteria, herbivores, viruses, pathogen, or even with the weeds. So the next best tool that are available or that are said or provided by the biotechnological tools are epigenetic modification or epigenetic adjustment. So we have very specific tool that can modify the histone proteins, which governs or which protect the chromosomes from the all the stresses, abiotic and biotic stresses. So because of this epigenetic factor and their modification, we can effectively modify the DNA methylation process, so that we can control or mitigate the stress effects that we encounter today. So this is again going to be the next level of manipulating tools that are available for us in the near future. So this is again one more tool offered by the microbial biotechnology, and that we call it as a microbiome manipulation. So these microbiome are present everywhere, are all part of the plant, whether it is in the root, especially in the root, whether it is inside the root which we called as root endosphere, or it is on the top of the root, which we called as rhizoplane, or it is surrounding the root, then we call it as rhizosphere. So otherwise, it may be present on the seed or leaf surface, in or outside of the seed, or inside the stem, or inside the leaf, which we call as endosphere. So all these area are can able to born, or they can habitat several protists or archaea or bacteria or fungi or viruses in different kinds of combination, maybe on the mutualism or antagonism or parasitism. But what we focus is on the dominant taxa, which avoid all the other disease or damage causing organism, but they are mutualistic. They give benefit to the plant system. So we focus on either dominant or keynote or keystone taxa, that is those microbes which gives better production environment for the crop plant. So this is now again possible by just making a network using AI model, and this kind of model help us to identify among the thousands of microbes that are present in the starting from the rhizosphere to the in and out of the stem or the pilosphere. So we will make a metabolic network diagram. So this will help us to know what are the metabolites that boost the crop yield and what are not. So such kind of clear demarcation help us to know what are the microbes, set of microbial consortium we need to provide to the plant, and which part of the plant, and then how often we need to provide. So such kind of management strategies can be effectively formulated when you have such a huge microbiome data. So this is going to be the next level. Again, all these things has to be integrated in the AI model. So not only the data that we have generated through the experiments, either through the lab experiments or field experiments, even after applying those experimental data or our knowledge in the field, and we have to collect those field data and then reposit over a period of season or location as well as environment. So this will help us to develop a model or machine learning model that best fit not only to the given crop. So what is the impact of this application in other crops, say for example in horticulture crops or in weed species. So all these things require treating those big data at different levels, starting from the agronomist to the field laborers and to the final market people. So we will collect all the data at a different level and then store it at the cloud, and then we will make a very clear understanding of, so if you manipulate the environment for the better agriculture production, what are those things that are going to happen in the future. So such kind of huge integration of data at all level, starting from the laboratory to the end user level, help us to design a better strategy, not only at the breeders level, but also at the end user levels. This will all help us to know to develop a entirely new precise breeding material that can cater all the needs of the future generation. So this is the way we are going to use the AI and ML models at different levels in the breeding program, so that it can easily improve the all the data points that we focus on the AGRIVISION 2.0. So that's all from me from this particular presentation, and I am happy to receive any questions if you have.
Thank you so much, sir. So the chat box has been enabled. If anyone wants to ask question, they can ask in that.
Or even they can note down my number, WhatsApp number, and mobile, I mean email ID. If they want, then they can directly post their questions over there.
Okay, sir. So we can wait for 2 to 3 minutes. If anyone will be having like any
Sure, sure.
questions, they can.
Yeah, no issue. I can wait. I have posted my email and WhatsApp number in the chat box. If they want, they can make use of it. Someone has raised hand.
Yes, sir. I'll just dictate it to you.
I don't know their name. It says Samsung SM.
Just a minute, sir.
Okay. Okay. So the first question is there any health issue surrounding GM crops? Of course, it needs very huge data we need to collect before we commit any comments or blame anything. So far, there is no such um, health issues when we consume the genetically modified crops. The main reason that I say for this no health issues is whatever we are consuming, it all digested. Like so, the polymers become monomers, and that too, the monomers again processed into a very minute molecules, and those molecules only absorbed by our cells, human cells or animal cells. So far there is no such kind of reports, but of course there are some reports on their impact on environment. So that too they are having very huge. They need to confirm with huge studies over a period as well as locations, and but so far there is no health issues. Uh, Okay. Then the next question is how the genomic tools will be helping genetic modification. So, okay. So this is the uh, next level of addressing the genetic concept. So all the traits are not governed by a single trait, I mean single gene. So we need to identify each and every gene and their contribution in expression of the trait of interest. So in such cases, the genomic tools are the only tool that we have, which help us to identify what are the genes and their contribution, phenotypic expression contribution. So only when you know the relative effect of each gene, then that can be used as in the genetic modification. So genomic tools are the only machinery that we have to identify what are the best gene that can be used in the genetic modification. How can farmers use AI and ML? Okay, so this is already in practice. Uh, uh, Farmers are now using AI to detect what is the exact disease, even the race specific organism that cause the disease is now it can be easily identified using the AI tools as well as machine learning tools. The best example is in banana. Banana, there is an app called Tsunami. So this helps us to know what are the diseases that are going to occur, even if it is in the redundant stage. That is, even a small speck is present that can be identified how it is going to develop in the future within 15 days or 20 days. So such kind of precision has been achieved in banana, and of course this has been extended to all the crops. I learned that there are some tools, AI tools that can able to identify the pest damage in maize and the coconut, idiophyte mite, and because the coconut is a very tallest tree, so there are drone governed app that are available to identify the diseases. So farmers are now using this AI and ML for identifying precisely what is going to happen to their cropping system. Not only pest and diseases, this can also helpful to identify the exact pocket where the first drought symptom has been occurred, or where the first submergence symptom has been occurred, or salinity symptom has been occurred. That can be easily identified in the large interior field by the farmers using this AI tool. So the next question from Kirtika. Do the genome editing is in practice now in crop improvement in present days? And of course, this is the hot cake in almost all the academic institute, and they are all doing this genome editing program with the anticipation that government of India soon will make a policy decision to approve such kind of genome editing. It is already in practice. There are three kinds of genome editing procedure available in gene editing, and there is a specific site directed nucleus 1 and site directed nucleus 2. So these two components are accepted in India already, and you might have seen from the newspaper that there are two varieties, rice varieties has been released by Prime Minister using SDN1 and SDN2. So this is already in practice, but other tools are also in practice, but they are not released to the commercial cultivation and all the academic institutions. There are more than 72 agriculture university in India, and almost all university in their biotech as well as breeding department, they are doing the genome editing experiments. Then a question from Harika. Can these genomic crops bring awareness among farmers? They do adopt it? Yes. So these genomics crops are already in practice, mostly the marker resistant selection crops. We have huge mega varieties in case of chickpea, and then in rice we have so many varieties from Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and so on. We recently released two varieties, Co 58 and 59, that focused on herbicide tolerance as well as the multiple stress tolerance, abiotic stress tolerance. So they are all already in cultivation process, I mean commercially available. And the question from Priyanka, is there any ban for cultivation of genetically modified crop? Yes, there is a ban for food and other crops except cotton in India. But in other countries like our South Asian, near our country, South Asian countries including China, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, they are all Philippines, they are all cultivating all the food crops, genetically modified food crops. But we have restriction to only cotton. Not other crops are not allowed in India. The other question is from Sivam. Sivam. Can we modify the plant scent releasing genes? If yes, how much time will it take? Yes, this has been successfully shown. Almost now all the rice varieties that are released by ICAR, I mean from the IRI Institute, they are modified. All the Pusa rice lines have been modified with this scent. They have used the modification of the gene called BADH1, so which is responsible for this aroma in rice. So this has been done, and it is a regular process. But initial time it took time. Initially, we used to spend around 3 to 4 years, 3 crops in a year. so that we have to spend this. Now, within 3 seasons, we can introgress all the aromatic or scent releasing gene into rice crops. So we have success stories in rice, but for other crops, we have to work on a lot. Then Akash requested to answer. Insect develop resistance towards GM crops in BT cotton. Yeah, this is the another critical questions. So the whatever may be the resistant or tolerance trait that we are introducing over a period of time, maybe after 6th or 7th generation, they are all become susceptible because existence of co-evolution. So whatever resistance we are developing with the different kinds of resistant gene, that recognition mechanism in the insect or pathogen that also evolve to counter effect the resistant gene that we are. Say for example, if you make some barricade or barrier by making pectin, strong pectin on the outer cell wall, then the pathogen or pest synthesize a very strong pectinase that will degrade the pectin that we introduced. So likewise, whatever resistant gene we are introducing in the plant system, then equal and corresponding evolution will be taking place in the pest and diseases. So it will break in due course. So that means after sixth or 7th generation, or even at least for 10th generation, the resistance will be broken. So the point here is there is no durable resistance which can last forever. It can be broken at any point of time. The next question is from Subham. Sorry, before that, Harika, one more question. New genomic tools presently working on research. So these are the things. First 4 slides I have looked, I have presented, starting from the genomic selection, uh, genome editing, and so on. Then Subham has asked, can any kind of genetical disorder can be cured in genetic modification? Yes, this is the happening in the US and European countries. They are all manipulating the genes at the germline itself. I mean, at the stem cells itself, and then whatever disorders they have identified in the stem cells, and they are cured at the using the gene therapy and all, and it is possible, and it has been shown the success has been shown in the stem cell modification, and it is already in practice. So then Ankar Kumar Gupta has asked, artificial cross pollination is possible in GM? Yes, we do have such kind of things. We are calling it as in vitro pollination. So all the pollination we do it in the laboratory condition. So once the seed is, the fertilization occurs, either we can use it as a in vitro grown regeneration, or we can place it back in the flower itself. So it is already in practice. What is the Sweta asked a question called what is the return on investment for farmers using genomic crops? Okay, so this is very huge uh, uh, questions. We at the academic institution, we work for service. We are not bothering about the investment infrastructure and all, because whatever benefits we are getting is multifaceted. So there are multifolds. We are generating second generation uh, manpower, scientists, and then the seed industries and so on. We generate knowledge for them, and then we provide those varieties as a nominal in the nominal fee. So we are not charging much that. So that's the thing we used to have. So we are not bothering about return of investment and all. So all the research program are having the same motto at the academic institution. So there is one more question from Angam Relay. Is there any process that a person needs to undergo before cultivating the GM crops? No, critically no, because it is already approved, well tested across the environment, and there is a huge committee under the DBT apex body. So they all well evaluated the GM crops, and finally it is when it comes to the farmers, it is in the safe protocol. So we need not bother about this. So just to follow the procedure that are printed on the label of the GM crop seeds. They used to have the refugia seeds. They used to have the isolation distance and all. They, if it is required, it will be mentioned in the label itself. If you follow that, it is sufficient enough. Then Sweta asked one more question. How might genomic technology help address climate change challenges in agriculture? So that is what I have told you in the last few slides, starting from the epigenetic modification, microbiome engineering. So there are different kinds of strategies available to meet all the challenges that we expect are going to see in the near future. For example, in this particular year, 2026 27, we are expecting a very critical drought period because of this El Nino effect that occurs in the Pacific Ocean. So what we plan is we have engineered microbiomes that can ready to handle this drought stress, and we have developed enough drought tolerant varieties, not only in the high water requirement crops like rice or sugarcane. We also have uh, other alternate plants. So what kind of crops can be grown, like millets, very short duration pulses. So these are all very ready to grow during this drought period without missing the season as well as the area under the green. So we have different kinds of protocol. So the next question is from Yas Tripadi. Does crop survive if the desirable molecular marker is not selected or changed? And of course, this is again a huge kind of limitation that we encountered. So we are selecting the plant. If we select the plant only based on the markers and then missing all other trait, then of course it is going to be a nightmare for the farmer if there is a sudden breakdown of diseases or pest. So we need to have everything, including the marker that governs our trait of our interest. So it is a very huge question. It depends on what is the stress. Sorry, what is the stress we encounter, and then how we are going to see that. The next question is again from the Yas Tirupati. Does crop survive if the desirable molecular marker is not okay? Sorry. Kritika asked one question. Is there any negative aspect in genetic modification? So yes, that is what we have explained in the first question itself. There are certain reports that highlights that we have impact on the environment because of the transfer of herbicide tolerance genes into the wild species or weed species, and then transfer of genes from the monarch butterfly and so on. But still, we need to have a very large study before conclude anything. But there are reports. Then Abilapsa is a resistant crop uh, to the particular disease. Cultivation always profitable if the cost benefit ratio is analyzed. And of course, this is so far as I have discussed in the previous questions. All the efforts that we have made in biotech crops are from the academic institute only. Very less numbers of varieties, especially in cotton hybrids, they are released by the private hybrids, and that too in a nominal fee only, seed cost only. So it is best to fit for the cost when we analyze the cost benefit ratio. The reason I would like to quote here is we are drastically reduced the number of pesticide spray. That means huge savings in the pesticide application and so on. So definitely there will be a cost benefit ratio improvement, or it is profitable to the farmer. Then Akash has raised one question. When GM crops developed or other varieties developed, will they not alter other characters, nutrition, yield? If they alter the character, what is the solution for that? Of course, one point you need to understand, each trait is governed by one particular gene of interest. I mean gene. So if you focus on particular gene, that trait alone is affected. Only very rarest rare, if you use the master switching genes like the transcription factor and all, then only you have the problem of cross-talking. So the same gene may affect the nutrition or yield or something else, other shelf life and so on. But mostly we are not focusing on the transcription factor. or other genes, master switch gene, so that we are safe in safeguarding all other traits. And of course, this master switch is rarely targeted. It is again decided by the objective of the breeding program. So we need not bother about this. Each gene governs only one trait. So there is no trade-off in the other beneficial traits like nutrition, yield, self-life, and so on. Then Rituraj asked one question: what measures are taken before bringing GM crops into the market? I mean, is there any test for how much safe it is? Yes, huge numbers of experiments. For each release of GM crops, there is more than 5 years testing, rigorous testing, evaluated by different third-party scientists, has to be approved. Though only after approving those data, these GM crops are released. And again, as I told you in the previous slides, I want to highlight the point that only cotton crop has been released in India, GM cotton. All other crops have not yet been released in India, except those two rice lines, SDN1, SDN2 based rice lines, uh, released recently by the Prime Minister. Is there any disadvantage of breeding population? Is asked by Kavya Singh. No, there is no breeding disadvantage or limitation to the breeding population. I used to say that for every single breeding population that we have developed, it may have its role either today or tomorrow. So it may not be waste. So everything we what we create is maybe useful in tomorrow's critical climatic condition. So all the breeding materials have their own advantage in the future, but the only thing is the space that we need to store such kind of breeding materials. We are breeding and then generating millions of breeding materials because of the infrastructure facility requirement, as well as the huge cost involved in the maintenance. We are used to miss those breeding population. In my point, every breeding material has its own role in the future. Okay, so the Mohammed, the questions have already been addressed. How the GM crops affect the biodiversity, the environment, right? So that the weed become herbicide resistance. So there will be a huge craze and cues on this particular transfer of herbicide resistant genes from the genetically modified crop to the related crop. So if there is accidental GMO pollen fall on the wheat crop, and then if they fertilize, and there is a chance of missing that particular spreading that particular gene. I hope I have already answered all the questions, and we get only thank you messages now.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring and thought provoking address. Your remarkable journey in agriculture research, innovation, and academic leadership has truly motivated all of us. On behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and all the participants of AGROVISION 2.0, I express our heartfelt gratitude for your valuable time, wisdom, and encouragement, sir. We are
Thank
honored
you.
by your presence and sincerely thank you for enriching today's session. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Look forward to meet you all if you have any questions.
Yeah, sure, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I guess our next guest, I guess ma'am has also joined us.
Yeah, Neha, I'm already there.
Okay, ma'am. I'm
Yeah.
just
I'm ready to start.
okay. Okay, so as we continue our journey of learning and capacity building, it is now my privilege to introduce our next distinguished speaker whose work has significantly advanced gender inclusivity, women's empowerment, and nutrition sensitive agriculture in India and beyond. Now, it is my great privilege to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker for this session, Dr. Vinita Kumari, Principal Coordinator of the PGDAEM program and Deputy Director, General Studies at the National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, Manage Hyderabad. Dr. Vinita Kumari is an accomplished academician, researcher, and capacity building expert with over 2 decades of distinguished experience in the field of gender studies in agriculture, women empowerment, nutrition sensitive agriculture, commodity development, and agricultural extension. She holds a PhD in home science extension education as a batch topper and a master degree in home science extension education with a university gold medal. At Manage, she leads several strategic initiatives focused on advancing gender inclusivity, nutrition security, and sustainable agricultural development. She also serves as the principal coordinator of the prestigious PGDAEM program, a flagship distance education initiative supported by the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Government of India. Throughout her illustrious career, Dr. Kumari has collaborated with renowned international organizations including FAO, GIZ, CGIAR, IRRI, GAAIN, UN Women, IFPRI, CABI India, and several others. Her contributors have significantly strengthened capacity building programs, gender mainstreaming efforts, and nutrition sensitive agriculture interventions across diverse stakeholder groups. She has successfully led multiple national and international research projects, published more than 30 research papers, book chapters, and scholarly articles, and has mentored numerous doctoral and postdoctoral researchers. Her area of expertise includes gender in agriculture, women entrepreneurship, nutritional security, biofortification, urban agriculture, community nutrition, and the One Health concept. Today, we are indeed fortunate to have such an eminent expert among us to share her valuable insight and experience. On behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and all the participants of AGROVISION 2.0, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Dr. Vinita Kumari ma'am. Ma'am, we are honored by your presence and eagerly look forward to your enlightening address. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Neha, for that wonderful introduction.
Thank you so
And
much.
I hope this session, or is it the last session for the day?
No, ma'am, we are having one more scheduled after
One more,
this.
okay. So, good evening, all of you. I can see good number of participants joined in, 280 plus. That's a very good number. So, as already discussed and mentioned in my introduction, basically I work on gender in agriculture, where I focus on women farmers, women agripreneurs, and also on nutritional security and other relevant areas. So today, what I want to talk about is we all know that we are living in a digital age, and even in agriculture, such is the screen visible in presentation mode now?
Yes, ma'am.
So we all know that how the importance of usage of digital agriculture, digital technologies even artificial intelligence are making its way very rapidly, even in agriculture sector. So here I want to discuss about what are the opportunities and challenges that are faced by women entrepreneurs in this new age of digital agriculture. Firstly, in order to take you to the opportunities and challenges that women face in being an entrepreneur first, and then second comes the usage of digital tools to scale up, to diversify her enterprise. So before that, also I would like to mention here that we are and I don't know how many of you are already aware of that the year 2026 UN is celebrating as International Year of Women Farmers. So UN has declared the year 2026 as dedicated to our women farmers globally, and this is the one way of recognizing, giving recognition, identification, and to the efforts, dedication, and the contribution of women farmers in agriculture and allied sectors. So we all know that agriculture is not only in India or in Asia, worldwide, it is becoming feminized. In most parts of the world, most of the activities which are done manually, those agricultural activities that are done manually are still um, carried out by women farmers by and large. But where mechanization has taken over, such as in the developed countries or in among the larger big farmers, there you see that women will not be in the that space. Women will be out of that space, because when we are talking just of, I'm referring here about mechanization only, and we have moved many leaps beyond mechanization, where drones are there, artificial intelligence are there, precision agriculture, machine learning, so many things have come in, and women are, we have to see where are our women farmers in the usage of these technologies. So this is one point which I wanted to mention here, that digital agriculture in itself, we have to see that what is its usage by farmers, in Indian farmers, and then after that, where women, like there's a skewed gap in that way, a clear gap we can see in that. And also, if you are aware of that, global gender gap, every year the different countries, based on the performance on social, economic, political, health, and other aspects, global gender gap score is calculated, and the global gender gap score of 2025 suggests that India's score is around 0.65. So it means that India has covered 65% of the parity only between men and women farmers. Still, there exists 35% of gap between men and women with respect to political issue, empowerment, or access or opportunities, benefits of health, technology, social, economic, so many aspects are there. So that 35% gap still needs to be filled, and it is I think the average global gender gap score is somewhere around 0.68 or something like that. It means it's not that the world has reached, there are few countries only which is near to parity but still not attain parity. So it means, considering all these facts only, the UN had declared this year as International Year of Women Farmers. So here we are trying to understand what challenge. Firstly, we want to start with a positive note to understand what opportunities lies ahead of our women farmers, our aspiring women farmers who want to be women agripreneurs, women entrepreneurs. So, and if what are the challenges that might come or they are still facing or they face in this journey. And with respect to digital agriculture is what we want to understand here today. So here we are trying to see the fusion of advanced technologies with agricultural practices. As we know that agriculture is the traditional occupation of majority of the population since decades, and it is still the highest, largest percentage of the population who are still carrying out agriculture and producing food for the rest of the population. But the pace at which things are changing, evolving, and new technologies are coming in. So, how the traditional agriculture is blending or adapting with the advanced technologies is something that we need to understand how these two blends are happening. Then digital agriculture definitely has a lot of potential. It has a lot of scope to increase productivity because a lot of activities will be done through apps supported system. Decision the making a support will be there, apps will be there, and a lot of tools and machines will be there that will be supporting, so, but not eliminating, I would say, the activities that is carried out. So this substitution or I would say complementing the advanced technologies with the current traditional practices or the manual nature of work that was being carried out. This definitely will increase productivity to a significant level or a percentage. And of course, it can also bring sustainability because we also know that most of the farmers are still small and marginal farmers having small piece of land. And in that small piece of land, the inputs that they will incur, that obviously it's a simple calculation. If they have small piece of land, more less economical it will be for them. But when we are taking in the help of digital agriculture, that will help minimize the requirement of different inputs, because as we know that say for example drone spraying or precision agriculture, they will very specifically calculate not only the dose but also the specific area where it needs and not a general application. It will be a very specified localized application than a generalized. So inputs requirement will definitely come down, and that will help the small and the marginal farmers also to benefit in terms of increased productivity, and that will lead to profitability also, and even bring sustainability in their farming practices, because otherwise so production costs, particularly for the small and marginal farmers, is very fluctuating. Sometimes they get a good harvest, sometimes they have to suffer for entire one season. So these are some of the other benefits that we can look at when these they are digital agriculture makes its way into the traditional agriculture. And the best or the greatest advantage will be to harness the data, because digital agriculture uses all the decisions are data driven. So these data driven decisions will help the farmers to take the right decisions. Sometimes because of the wrong decisions also lot of losses are suffered by the poor farmers. But when these decisions are data driven, so the probability or the chance of making a wrong decision will also be very less. So lot of data will be available that can help them to take a right decision, proper connectivity, innovation. All these things are something that the new gen agriculture or the youths that we say that youths in agriculture, they should look at these options. And definitely we are at the same time, this is an opportunity for our youths in agriculture to benefit from these available technologies and make agriculture highly professional also, and remunerative and profitable also to them. But at the same time, we also are concerned about the youths in agriculture also, that whether the youths will be driven towards agriculture in the coming years or not. And women farmers who have been the pillar of Indian agriculture since decades. So for them, the burden is increasing because of the migration of the male members towards cities and towns for better earning, better livelihood, and women are carrying out these activities. So it is most important that whatever the latest technologies, whatever the advancements are happening in agriculture sector, that should reach to the women farmers definitely, because they are the ones who are doing most of the activities. And that is why in digital agriculture, digital tools, AI tools, women should be included. But ironically, whenever such programs are carried out, whenever such awareness program or capacity building programs, sensitization programs happen, women will hardly be seen in these type of programs, because the notion is that men will be a better participant whom we can pass on this knowledge or skill, so that they will take it up. And this is where there is a lot of digital gender divide also. We spoke about global gender gap and the score of it. And you can imagine that the score that I have said, that there is a gap of 35%. In order to fulfill that 35% of the gap, it's going to take nearly 123 years as per the pace at which we are working, and at the pace at which we are taking gender with seriousness, and the pace at which we are trying to address the gender inequality or the gender gap. So here in digital also, there is a digital gender divide. There is a clear gap in the access to, and even not only in the access to the devices or the other resources that are required to make use of the digital tools or the digital technologies that are available, but even the knowledge and the skill about it regarding these are also less. Access to, and even the control, even if they have access, even if they have smartphone, it will not be used by the women farmer, it will be used by her children or other family members. So this is where women are not, and because of the overburden of household and farm activities, they also do not find enough time to invest in learning new knowledge, new skill. This is where women are, some of the reasons, some of the facts because of which women farmers are lagging behind in you making use of or exploring the digital tools and technologies available for use in agriculture. So as we can see here, there are different options available here, like precision farming is there, Internet of Things, e-commerce and marketplaces are there, data analytics, smart equipment, agri-tech. So these are some of the digital agriculture technologies, so the platforms, tools that are available, that needs to be disseminated to the women farmers exclusively and at their own pace, at their own level, at their convenience and at their pace, so that they really benefit. We are all working towards the digital skilling of women farmers and women entrepreneurs, women FPO members. And today also one of our team member is had gone for a field of campus training, where we have conducted digital training for the women farmers in the neighboring villages of near to Hyderabad. We are working with one of the organization, CABI, Plantwise, if some of you are aware about it. So CABI Plantwise is also promoting digital skilling of women farmers. So we had conducted another training with them last month, where we have given them very simple things, how to send email, how to upload something, how to share some videos, photos, and how do they create their email ID. So the small things through which they can get connected to the network of the Internet of Things, that because they get. So basic things are also very important, very vital for them, and all the small things that we do today might give a significant impact after a few months or years. We can see those impacts. So we are trying to do the digital skilling of these a group of women farmers and women entrepreneurs, and they will be master trainers. Today was a training of the TOT, training of trainers, and these 30 women that we have identified, they in turn are going to train other fellow women farmers in their network. And after some time, we are going to study the impact also. We are going to monitor and study the impact evaluation also. The whole study we will be completing by November of this month. So this is where small initiatives and efforts are required for digital skilling of women farmers and women entrepreneurs at a very basic level, just like a new learner learns from ABCD alphabets to words and sentences. That's where how we need to work with these women groups, and then only they will be able to. These are the advanced courses for them. These are very advanced courses for them. Before that, we need to train them what is the email ID, how to create, how to send. Today in our training program, all those 30 women have shared email from their email ID. So all, at least today, they were able to share email to others from their email ID. Very simple thing for us. It might be that kya isme itna important hai email bhejna, but for them it was a big learning for them, something which they acquired today. So these small things we are going to train them, and we will see the impact and how it creates. And they only when they are very much confident and skilled in usage of those basic things, then level 2, level 1, level 2, level 3, like that. And this is so that is why what I said, that the gap of 35%, they will take 123 years, because you see in digital world where how much right, like just from alphabets we have to teach them, and then they will have to go to the advanced and then come to this, and then start making uses of this widely and confidently without external help or support of others. So this is going to take a lot of time. It cannot happen very soon. So these are some of the opportunities for the women farmers in digital agriculture, where technology, the development itself, whatever are the developed technologies, they can make use of that. The data which is available. When we talk of the women entrepreneurs in digital agriculture, so we can also think that these things that I'm talking about, data analysis, e-commerce, agribusiness and technology development, all these things might not be very much currently relevant to our women farmers or the women FPU members also. But there are some, and we all know that now urban agriculture is also gaining a lot of significance, a lot of importance. There are a lot many youngsters, youths who are into agri startups, agri incubators, and all those innovators are in agri. So these type of similarly, those women who are in agri startups, agripreneurship, they can take these up, and they, I think that they will be the right person to train their women groups as their clients, as their customers, to make use of these digital services or the digital facilities, technologies that are available, like data analysis, e-commerce, doing agribusiness online mode, and what are the sustainable practices. Because data and statistics also suggest that the entrepreneurship started by women is has a very short shelf life. If it and most of the 95% of the women agripreneurs, women entrepreneurs who start, they start as small and micro enterprise and small enterprise, mostly micro enterprise, not even small enterprise. So 95% of them operate as a micro level. So that is why the sustainability is also at a risk, at stake. That to what if some family issues come, if some other personal things comes, or some other social, because of social things, it closes. When the family or the children needs time, women may close it up. So that's why sustainable practices is very important, that how these women entrepreneurs can be groomed, they can be skilled, so that their enterprises are sustainable, they follow sustainable practices that can take their ventures to a longer run. These are some of the opportunities for the women in agriculture, but I'm not talking about women farmers, but those urban women who are also into agripreneurs, who have some knowledge of agriculture and are into this sector. So they can use these tips, because for me, as of now, for women farmers, for women FPO members, the type of training that we have done today and we have done earlier also, that is what is required at present the most. Small, start with the very initial steps, and then move, take them slowly to the higher ladder. So when we are discussing about the challenges of women entrepreneurs, we all know that resources is one very important component for the sustainability of enterprises, for the success of any enterprise. Without resources, no activity, no venture can sustain. So what are the resources that we require in agriculture? Definitely land is one of the most important resource that is required. For inputs are required. If one has a land, one requires inputs, different inputs, seeds, right from seeds to fertilizers, or different nutrient management, pest management, and so many of irrigation facilities, so many other things. So land is there, inputs is there, credit is also there, because they will not have, definitely they have to take some loan from here and there, from banking institutions or other financial institutions. Loan is there. They also need a certain level of skills, knowledge to make use of the latest technologies or package of practices, or the advanced technologies that are available. So capacity building, or it's for extension training that is organized. So these are some of the very important resources that women require to carry out agriculture and agriculture related enterprises. So we all know that land is very less percentage of women, not only women farmers, but women in general own very small percentage of land, either as independent owner or as joint owner. In our agriculture scenario, only 13% of the agricultural land is owned by women farmers, either as independent owner or as joint owner. So our this is it means there is a gap of 87% in land ownership. If 100 farmers are landowners, only 13 women farmers are landowners, either independently or jointly. So much because they do not have land in their name is not included in the land documents. They are not considered as farmers in first place. They are doing most of the activities, but they are not being recognized, identified as farmers. That is the most serious concern. For the inputs also, as I mentioned that so the various inputs goes into agriculture, and in order to have access to and control over these resources, That is another important thing, whether women have access to buy these inputs or not, and if they have access to go and buy, whether they have control to spend the money to buy or that or not. So these are some of the challenges that the women face. That if you see the input dealers in agriculture, 90% I would say we have managed runs a DAY-2 program. That DAY-2 program is for the diploma in agriculture for input suppliers. Yeah. So in that we see that majority of the license holders, input suppliers are men, very few women, and wherever the women name is there, it is only on paper, but they are not the officiating person to take care of that shop or that business. So input is also one of the important concern for them, that they do not have access to go and buy, and even if whoever has access to buy, they cannot just go make the decisions on their own, that what variety of seeds, what types of seeds they want to buy, in what quantity, which brand, or from where to buy, from whom to buy, all these, and money, from where the money will come to buy. All these are some things that is an access, very limited access of these resources to women farmers and entrepreneurs. And because of all these things, women also face a credit challenge. If the women do not have any assets, any property, any land in her name, no bank is or financial institution is willing to grant loan to the women loan applicant, knowing fully well that any amount of money that is granted to women, they will repay that loan amount very sincerely and very in a committed manner. But in spite of this, since the documents are not there, they are denied these opportunities to get loan. And this is how women entrepreneurs, how can any entrepreneur work without a working capital? They need to have some working capital, and they do not have this working capital at their own means. They do not have the means of these amounts. So definitely they have to rely, and they are denied. So here, and another can be marketing. So we also know that women entrepreneurs, women agripreneurs, they are into all stages of farming, up to the harvest, cleaning, grading, packaging, sorting, whatever. It is a post-harvest also. But the moment the harvest, the produce is ready to be sold into the market, then again, due to these stereotypes, social cultural norms, family do not allow the women to do the direct marketing in the physical market, physical space. So this is where also digital marketing, digital can be a great support, when many urban women are making use of it nowadays to do all the marketing of their things, entire things through online platform. So online platform, that virtual space, marketing space, is one opportunity where these social cultural norms that restrict women to go and do the direct marketing of their produce and get the money back into their hands, into their control, so that they can spend it at their own as a discretion. That also doesn't come into the women farmers or the women entrepreneurs because of these challenges. And funding constraints, already have discussed that the credit is one of the greatest funding constraint, because banks are not ready to give a loan to women where there is no collaterals to take the loan against, or some guarantor to stand and in our to and guarantee for our refund. And as I have mentioned, that the extension training like latest knowledge about the our latest package of practices, technologies, recent advances and developments in different crop varieties, or the because of the different activities that are there. everything for that women also needs to be trained like the men, but women, some might not be interested because they feel that they are good whatever whatever practice they are doing is, some feel that they don't have time because they have to work at home, then go to field, then come back home, then again do household things, and so then take care of the family and children. So they find a time poverty. So time poverty is also one challenge that women do not want to expand their limits to get trained and learn new things. Education, of course, is also one, but the literacy gap that exists between male and female, of course, it is coming down. That gap is filling it up, but still, the fact is that the gap still remains there. It has not been closed completely. So education, because we know that women, particularly those who are the mid age or the old women farmers, their education level is very minimum, very basic, or at times may not be able to read, write anything, completely illiterate. So education, without education, we cannot expect them to be a good, confident, and a professional entrepreneur also. Because we all understand that business requires, whether it is done at a micro level or at a macro level, whether as a micro enterprise or a the medium enterprise or a big enterprise, it requires an education, understanding of various things, and not only just that, lot of managerial skills and leadership qualities, business aptitude, lot of things needs to be groomed and inculcated among them. So all these things come as a challenge for our women entrepreneurs to become entrepreneur and at the first place, and then embrace the digital technologies or the tools or the facilities that are available. And in this stereotypes and cultural values is just what we call define as gender. Gender is the social cultural the norms that is there for men and women, and these barriers, these cultural barriers, women should not go into the market to sell the things, women should not participate in group meetings or community meetings, or they should not speak publicly. So many things are there because of which the voice of the women farmers or the agripreneurs remain unheard, and whatever the policy decisions, whatever the strategies, whatever the interventions, whatever the recommendations goes, that often miss the voice of the women. It is all via and medium or assumption that the decisions are taken or the policies are enacted or some guidelines come for them, but it is not the directly. So that inclusivity is missing. So that inclusivity has to be there. So how can these challenges, what we have just seen, we can overcome? So first is a mentorship program. Like today we had a program of these master trainers whom we trained today, and whom we are, and we assign the task of training other 20 100 women in their network. So we have we once they are skilled in this, they will be just like we have Krishi Sakhis and Pashu Sakhis, they will become digital Sakhis. So they will be the digital Sakhis who will be bringing this digital revolution among the women farmers, among the women agripreneurs. So these type of mentorship programs that has to be organized through organizations and other relevant initiatives. Just like Manage and Cabby has started this work to impart digital knowledge and skill to the women. So these type of mentorship programs is very, very important, because until we prepare them with the basic things, we cannot expect them to adopt some advanced technologies directly without having proper prior knowledge or skill or confidence in the use of this. Networking is another very important opportunity, just like we have nowadays closed network or in Facebook, in maybe I don't know if it is there in Instagram also, or there are WhatsApp group. So these are some of the other opportunity there are that will help the when the women forms into networks they because when we create a common group common space for the women to come together, learn from each other, share one's knowledge and experiences with others, and learn from that cross learn. Because firstly, in these type of networks, women will be at the same level as her fellow women. There will not be wide uh, gap in the prior knowledge or the skill of among the members in the group. So each of most of them will be at the same level. So it will be that nobody is having very advanced exposure or experience, and still they whatever the experience they have, they can help each other to learn. Just like we have women groups like women self-help groups, women FPO members, and then likewise we can have such groups, women collectives where Mahila Samakhya and so many other such. But indeed, the objective or the purpose of these networking should be to help each other, to learn from each other, to contribute to each other, to support each other, to lift each other, so that they learn from them among themselves, and what is new for me, I can share with others. What is not known to others can be learned. Third is the skill building workshop. Just talking in theory that email ऐसे खोलते हैं, email के लिए आपको ये करना वो करना, that will not work out. Digital tools or digital skills are something which is more hands-on experience is important for the until and unless we provide hands-on experience to these women groups, learning confidence, usage of it will not come. So these are all skill-based learnings, where workshops, where the women get opportunity individually in person to try, to practice, to do, to learn, and to gain confidence. This is another way by which they can overcome these type of challenges. And then of course policy, that the government support through policies is important. Like say for example, that Namo Drone Didi scheme. So that Namo Drone Didi scheme is, as the name of the scheme itself says, that it is only for the women farmers who are the members, the Krishi Sakhis and all these Krishi Sakhis have been trained by our government as a drone pilot. So they are these drone didis or drone pilots, and they have been supported through these schemes to train them not only how to operate, but also to service, repair, maintenance, everything, getting them licensed to as a drone pilot to fly that drone. All this Namo Drone Didi scheme has all these components in it. So it's a supportive policy to get some digital hands-on and skill to our women farmers. So there are like we have the Digital India. So maybe in the Digital India scheme also, women should be given special incentives or some special provisions in that, so that more and more women can be facilitated, and more women are motivated, encouraged to take benefits of such schemes and policies. So this is another pathway that can help overcome these challenges. So when we are talking about the entrepreneurial opportunities in digital agriculture, so in the earlier slide also, where we had seen these things, that online marketplace, smart farming solutions, e-commerce platform, tech-driven supply chain solutions. So these are some of the emerging important and some significant opportunities where our today's new net women farmers can become tomorrow's confident digital Sakhis or the digital agri entrepreneurs like that. So these are something that currently the women agripreneurs or agripreneurs who are having knowledge, skill, they can make use of, or those urban women entrepreneurs or startups can definitely, and they are using it, and not can, but they are using it, these type of platforms and technologies to upscale their business. So the challenges we have already discussed about the roles, gender roles that limits women's access to resources and decision making. Women are playing triple roles from gender perspective, whereas men are playing only double role. As if men are playing have a role as a producer and as a community politics. Women roles are as a producer, as a they have a reproductive roles of giving birth to kids, taking care of the family, sick member, elderly members, and so many other things. And then the community management. So this community management is something that the resources are not available within the home or household, for which they have to sit and look for those resources in the community, like fodder, firewood, water, some forest produce, edible, non-edible timber produce. These are some of the resources for which women are going and looking it, collecting it from outside. And so these are another role that we call community management role. So these are some of the typical roles that women have to do household things by and large. But I'm talking about the women farmers. Rural is a scenario. Cities and town, of course, we have a very different scenario nowadays, and it's a very welcoming that we can see some gender role reversal or shifting paradigm, where men are also helping women in household things and all. But in the rural society, because of these social cultural norms, stereotypes, stigma, taboos, women are still not helping the women in the household work. So here, digital literacy gaps, as I had mentioned, that there is a acute digital gender divide. So this digital literacy gap is also one of the big challenge or concerns. We also had conducted a study some 3 years back in Uttar Pradesh, where we wanted to understand this only, that to what extent the women farmers or the women FPO member or the women entrepreneurs, they have access to and have control over these digital tools or the digital devices, digital technologies that are there. So the study I highlighted that, as I said, that access first, access was a constraint. Wherever access was there, control was a constraint. It was never in their hands, used by other family members and children. And in that also, basically, even if those who own a smartphone, they were mostly using it for making phone call and sending voice message. Because of the poor literacy among women, they cannot type the message. So for the speaker, they can record and send the message. So these are some of the important things that they were. These women entrepreneurs or FPO members, they were not using whatever they had at the most smartphone, and that too also, as I said, smartphone was not in their control. They had just access, and even emails and all those things, they don't know how to upload content here and there. So a different way, how to make use of digital platforms for marketing and all, they don't have the knowledge, and neither are they don't have knowledge. So there is no question of making use of these platforms also. So these are some of the things that we, from our study also, we have established that fact that there is a digital literacy gap, because of which there is a digital gender divide, in terms of access to, in terms of control over these resources, and in terms of the usage of these available technologies and tools. And also, as I said, there are lack of access to smartphone and internet. And another reason why these particularly these rural women farmers, they don't have, because the family feels that if the women have smartphone in their access, then lot many things can happen. Entire world is there in the smartphone. Anything can be carried. It will be a risk to the women of their family. Anybody who calls it, or anybody who sends some messages, or somebody tries to disturb. So because of the safety reasons also, they don't want to give access to smartphones to women or young girls in villages. So this was another limiting factor for the access to these smartphones and internet things. So when we are talking about this, we have mentioned all these things about the scope and the opportunities where precision agriculture, data analysis, AI-driven decision making or farming solutions, and a lot of consultancy services, all those consultancy services that are provided by agri experts or those who have understanding of this sector or this area. All these are using these certain software, certain apps only to provide these AI-driven or solutions to the field problems. Like we have a lot of plant health doctor and so many other such type of where now they can take image and share the image, get solutions for that. So all these type of consultancy and every consultancy and things are also scope. But for our women farmers, our rural women and agripreneurs, these are still far to be reached. But of course, as I was mentioning again and again, for our urban women entrepreneurs, agripreneurs, startups, these are not challenge. They are exploring, they are benefiting from this. I have kept here some of the case studies which I don't want to go through it because I think these are some of the case studies which I have taken from India and other places where these women, and as you can see, these are all urban women farmers, women entrepreneurs, agripreneurs, who, because they are in cities and towns, they are educated, they are having all knowledge and skill in the usage of these things. They are making use of these IoT devices to measure soil moisture, temperature, and other vital parameters, and helping farmers to optimize their farming operations and reduce their input usage by providing these solutions to them. These are all urban women entrepreneurs, educated women entrepreneurs who are using these digital platforms and the tools to provide farming solutions, to make smart decisions, farming decisions for as an enterprise. So these are some of the how others have used this. So I'm just going to so that if there is some time, I think I have some 10 minutes time. So I want to finish it off so that we have at least few minutes of time for any discussions if they are there. So these are some of the things just to support that how digital tools, digital platforms, digital services are being explored, are being utilized by our educated, literate, having all the having the confidence and knowledge and skill to provide farming solutions to our farmers. The same thing what the urban women are doing today is what is expected that these rural women should do it tomorrow. And this is what why digital tools and all are becoming so important and significant. So these are some of the things that how in the real time they are providing all this crop management, pest management. As I said, if you take a picture of the infected plant or the parts of the plant, and you post it, and immediately you get back the response from the experts. So these are the ways how things are being used. We want our rural women farmers and entrepreneurs to come into this space and start making use of these type of features and the facilities that are available. So overall, what recommendations can we draw from this presentation is that education is very, very important, and training is also equally important. But the first thing is that education. If they have the basic education, if they have certain level of education, then only they will be able to learn the things that are being taught about digital tools, digital literacy, financial literacy, only if they. So, of course, adult education programs were started many years ago, decades ago, for these type of adult people only, to make them neo-literate and functional literate. At least they should have. We have farmers field school. In the farmers field school itself, we can integrate some of these very important and pertinent topics where it earth and agriculture, they learn about all these things also. So in order to promote and to give digital literacy and financial literacy, or any other training programs, education is the first thing that we need to target. We cannot jump first few classes and start them at the grade 6 level or grade 7 level. They will not have the knowledge how to write A, B, C, similar. Often we do not have. In agriculture, we are very much focused to our main agenda, that we have to distribute subsidy, we have to give some awareness program, we have to distribute some inputs to them, some seeds to them, we have to give some training, without understanding where are they, how much grasping ability they have. We don't work on these things and straightway jump onto our agenda without doing the back end work, that where are your target population, where are your target beneficiaries, at what level, what is there. So in every research study, we study the socio-economic profile of the respondents. Why do we study the socio-economic profile as the first objective of any research topic that we do in extension, particularly whether MSc or PhD, just to understand the population, the sample with whom we are conducting our study, what is their social educational background, to what extent have they these knowledge, experience, exposure, so that accordingly we can do. So that is why education is very important. Women focused entrepreneurship also should be promoted, supported, and as I had mentioned, that networking is very important. So these social networks, women of like-minded and at the same level, at the same platform, that is very important, so that women feel at the same level and very comfortable in sharing their things with each other. Otherwise, if there exists a wide gap between their knowledge and experience and exposure, then again that shyness and that inhibition will be there. And policy is another third pillar. I would say this is another important third pillar. Until and unless the government has a suitable policy, has a relevant policy to bring up these women farmers, to address their issues, to give them more facilities, more privilege, more benefits, more access, then these type of inclusiveness will not be there in the digital world in agriculture space. So this is what I want to conclude here, that women entrepreneurs today may not be representing at that scale and at that level where the other fellow men are there, but definitely with a proper commitment, approach, support, and we can take our rural agripreneurs and farmers to embrace new digital agriculture with confidence is what we can say. And this can also make a huge difference on the nation's development because nation development may agriculture is contributing a lot, and in agriculture women are the major contributors, so that's why we need to focus on them through digital skilling of these women farmers. I would like to stop here, and if you have anything for discussion, I think we have 3 more minutes. We can take that now. Is there any questions anywhere in the chat box? Okay, well, I don't see.
Ma'am, they will be dropping their questions in the chat box. I'll just enable it. The chat box is enabled now. Those who want to ask questions, they can drop their questions right here. Ma'am, there's one question. Like, ma'am, can you make clear idea about agri stack of digital agriculture?
Yeah, what's the question? Agri stack of digital agriculture. Sorry, I agree stack. I am not having any idea on that. On agree stack.
Ma'am, there's one more question. Like, ma'am, like, can you give one example of successful woman entrepreneur in India?
Women entrepreneur in which sector? Like I have presented here so many case studies. They're all the women entrepreneurs who have used digital platforms to promote their business. Not to promote their business, if they are into digital entrepreneurship. Digital tools has become. So I think I have kept here some 5-7 case studies there. That is there, and otherwise. Women entrepreneurs we have at the rural level, we have many at every district level or even at state level, but specifically the most. Yeah, I have in my slides kept so many examples there also.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, one more. Like, one ma'am is asking, the most trouble situation faced by women is to convince their husband or family. How can they be convinced at root levels?
Yeah, very relevant question you have asked. Yeah, I know that to convince husband, in-laws is the most difficult things to do on in this changing, because we are working on their or established mindset, whatever is their pre-existing notions mindset towards that, and it is not very easy to change. But yes, it has happened. Like last year we were celebrating Mahila Kisan Divas, and in that Mahila Kisan Divas we had invited women farmers, women agripreneurs from different states also. So the women whom we invited on the dais in one of the panel discussion, she was mentioning that she was from Gujarat. She was mentioning that when some that agency, I think FWWB, Friends of Women World Bank. So they were supporting these women farmers to give them some skill and to give them livelihood and all. So they were reaching out to women, but this lady, she knew that her husband will not allow her to attend such meetings and to go in attend such trainings. So she hidingly she used to go did not tell her husband and she used to make some excuse or the other, and that her husband didn't wanted her to attend these type of meetings because most of the rural families also believe that these NGOs or these development organizations who come to give them skilling, knowledge, and guidance, they are giving them the wrong guidance, and this is going to disturb their family life and all that. So she said her husband was the only major obstacle, but secretly she was learning all these attending meetings, training and all that, and then she could come to a level where she had to represent in some other states that she had to go. And it is at that time that her husband himself came to drop her to the airport, and in that event also her husband had accompanied that lady. So once I know that it is initially very difficult to convince husband and family, but through our perseverance, through our right attitude and patience, definitely once they see the outcomes, then definitely they will be supportive. This I have observed in many cases that initially the major hindrance obstacles came from the family husband, but when they saw that the women outcomes impact, and then they only came and supported. So I think we need to first show our potential, our things to the family. They will definitely come and support us. So I think there is another question. I want to learn more about drones. Can you please guide me? I think we have a neighboring institute, National Institute of, I don't know where are you from, but in Hyderabad we have the National Institute of Plant Health Management. They have drone academy, and they are training. They have a space also, so they are providing those drone training and helping them with a drone license and all. But you can check from the place where you are from. But in Hyderabad, we are there, and there are many such agencies, organizations, I think, these days who are providing these type of trainings. Case studies are there in my slides, Manas Darsha. So you can please refer to the slides where some case studies are kept there. See, Shweta, you have asked that what challenges did I face when entering this sector and becoming successful as a woman. So, see, as I tell, this sector means I started my career as assistant professor from Central Agriculture University, where in Meghalaya. So I had started my career from Meghalaya, where I worked for 13 years, and then and as you have come across that my profile is from Home Science Extension Education, so where Home Science was one of my discipline. So I was from women, from the right from my discipline only. I am to a working. My discipline relates to women and girls. So I was already having that education, that work experience in that. So when I joined Manage also in the Center for Gender in Agriculture, I already had all those knowledge and things and all that. So I don't think that there was any such challenge as such in coming into this sector, because I've already had my qualifications, my work experience in that. So I don't feel that I was very much in the place or in the space where I had been groomed and I had acquired my experience from that. But yes, of course, if you look at the overall, not a professional but personal, every woman, whether in a village or city or in literate or illiterate, every single girl, I believe, except few exceptions, will have some or the other challenges to emerge as a successful woman. Those are the gender stereotypes that every woman face. So there will be these, but as a professional, I don't think I had any such challenge to face. So I hope most of the things I could answer to your satisfaction.
Yes, ma'am. So, thank you very much, ma'am, for your highly insightful and inspiring session. Your valuable perspectives on gender, inclusivity, women empowerment, and sustainable agriculture development have greatly enriched our understanding and will undoubtedly benefit all the participants. Thank you once again, ma'am, and we look forward to staying connected.
Thank you, all of you. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, after gaining valuable insights from academia and extension, we now move towards the exciting world of agribusiness, entrepreneur, and leadership. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce our final speaker for today's session. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker for this session, Ms. Premangi Khagram, Director of Oceanus Exports Private Limited, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Ms. Premangi is a dynamic entrepreneur, mentor, and business leader with extensive experience in marketing, public relations, business development, and international trade. An MBA in marketing by qualification, she has successfully transformed her family's long standing agricultural legacy into a modern agribusiness venture through Oceanus Exports Private Limited, a company specializing in processed and dehydrated food products, including fruits, vegetables, and value added food ingredients. Under her leadership, Oceanus Exports has emerged as a growing name in the food processing and export sector, delivering innovative and convenient food solutions to domestic and international markets. She is passionate about creating value across the agricultural supply chain while promoting food processing, agribusiness innovation, and export opportunities for Indian agriculture. Apart from her entrepreneurship journey, Ms. Premangili actively mentors young entrepreneur and agri startups. She has delivered expert talks and interacted with students and aspiring business leaders across various universities and institutions, inspiring them to pursue innovation, leadership, and entrepreneurship in the agricultural sector. Her journey reflects the spirit of determination, innovation, and leadership that AgroVision 2.0 seeks to promote among its participants. On behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and all the participants of AgroVision 2.0, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to Ms. Premangi Khagram ma'am. Ma'am, we are honored to have you with us today and eagerly look forward to your valuable insights and inspiring interaction. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
I hope I'm audible to the crowd.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
A very good evening to everyone present here. Myself is Premangi Khagram, as Neha rightly mentioned. Thank you for a wonderful introduction of mine and my company, Neha. Uh, we come from a business which is dehydrated in nature, and which is why when we were asked of picking up a topic to talk about what exactly is entrepreneurship and agribusiness, if you see my office and the sound around is the work that is happening. So I just like to say you that we are into a business which is convenient in nature, and I did wanted to address. I think there are 240 people in the crowd. of how to get into a business which is different in nature or has a future potential to come. I just like to address myself with a little introduction of our company, that is Oceanus Exports Private Limited, is based out here in Gujarat, Ahmedabad. This is the legacy of my grandfather's 40-year-old business, and this thus comes from his fresh garlic farming business. Um, when it was his time to do business, he was into garlic, and when did come my time, there was a different product that came into nature, which is right now running, and that is dried. We do multiple amount of products which are like dried in nature, like onions, garlic. We have different vegetables, potatoes, tomatoes, and many others in nature. Uh, the session which is right now given to me is to talk about agribusiness and entrepreneurship, and I'll keep highlighting the point for the audience to seek guidance or knowledge in terms of understanding why and what kinds of businesses then can they pick up from my learning, especially. As I mentioned, that this business is convenient in nature. And when I said that this business is by the legacy of my grandfather's business, I'd like to connect you 2 points. The first point is that every time has its own demand. The times when he was doing business was the demand of, let's say, using fresh or using absolutely raw or something which was natural. But then comes the time which is this. The era that we are sitting right now into talks about everything which is convenient. We are eating ketchup, sauces, pickles, chutneys, ready to eat, ready to cook, instant mixes, everything which is convenient. Are we cooking anything which is either of this? The answer would be hardly yes. Let's say 1 or 2% of people are cooking a ketchup raw by themselves and consuming it by themselves. But most of us are, procuring all these materials or raw materials from the market and directly consuming. So we are in a food processing era. There comes a place where there is a lot of gap where and what can be done. And at the same time, a lot of competitiveness have got added. So it is important for anyone to understand the segment that we are, that is agribusiness, where can we fit in ourselves very well. So when I'm talking about agribusiness, I'd also like you to, pick up your notes and pen and keep yourself written when I ask you certain questions. And I think that let's keep this as a little grilling session between both of us. And post this session, you can analyze for your own self. I'm sure there are a lot of people who has come to understand entrepreneurship, and I'd like to give that share to them also. Let's say if we are talking currently about agribusiness, what are the zones that you find interesting businesses happening? I'd request you to, let's say, take a minute or two and write down the topics you feel there is an interesting segment to do business with. For all these prospective entrepreneurs who's gonna or wanting to work with it, I request you to grill your brains more deeper and think धंधा कहाँ पे है, not just कि interesting business कौन सा है, where does the business or demand side of the business lies. 2 minutes given, it is 6:14. You can think about it 2 minutes and we can again talk on it more. Yes, do we have any answers? And if yes, let us. Okay, there have been people writing about things. Processing of fruits and vegetables, food and dairy industry. Someone says microgreens, someone says fruit juices, someone says organic vegetables, dehydration and exports, mushrooms and ready-to-use food, instant products, of seasonal availability of products. Okay. Profit from recombinant crops through genetic engineering. Deep. Biofortified foods, use ready-to-use products in dairy products and beverage. A lot of people have really commented well and good answers, and I'm very happy that you guys are still. Honey, millet, biofertilizers, mushroom cultivation, ready to eat and serve. Sericulture, nice. Okay, all these answers of yours, please keep it in your paper or diary that you are writing at the moment. Let us grill deeper a little more. I'm sure that each of you have one specific category of answer, and you guys have an interest in specific places. Meantime, if is that at that as that is happening, I'll also request Neha to click media and tag you guys. Thank you. You can write down all this session, all these topics by yourself. अपने इससे और आगे बढ़ते हैं. हमने टॉपिक तो डिसाइड किया कि हमें किस में शायद इंटरेस्ट है, या फिर हमें क्या लगता है कि कौन सा बिजनेस एक अच्छा एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप बिजनेस है. नाउ लेट्स ग्रिल अ लिटिल डीपर. When you talk about business, there is a simple form of understanding demand and supply rule. When you know that there is demand, you can always understand the supply part. But there's something very interesting when you know how to create a supply of a product. Something which is very interesting is that you are building a category which is still not present in the market. Something where you can, have not monopoly, because India is very tough to do monopoly, or you should be doing it, but creating a market of your own जो आपको पता है कि फ्यूचर में आने वाला है. अगर आप उस बिजनेस में इस पर्टिकुलर चीज जो आपने लिखा है उसको देख सकते हैं, तो गिव अ 5 marks out of it. Like 5 में से आप कितने देंगे उसे? See, we have to analyze business in many categories, right? These categories can be divided by practical applicability to the demand and supply rule, then to the demand of suppliers, then to the demand of buyers, then to the demand of actual temps and so. एक बार समझना पड़ता है कि जो हम सोच रहे हैं उसका मार्केट कितना बड़ा है, या फिर क्या कितना खड़ा कर सकते हैं, राइट? और उसके लिए उसके एग्जिस्टिंग मार्केट की एक्सपर्टीज या फिर उसके एग्जिस्टिंग मार्केट की अवेलेबिलिटी को जानना जरूरी है. सो फॉर दैट, as I mentioned, you can put down a scale of 5. Where does your suggested topic belong if that business was yours or you were doing that? I'm sure you would have answered it relevantly and correctly, because ये सब जो पैरामीटर्स है उनको जज करना बहुत जरूरी है. कारण के when you go out in the market, talk to people and understand about what business this is and how this is going to happen. इसका बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर है कि आप इस बिजनेस को समझ के बाहर निकले हैं, आप इसका सेल करने निकले हैं, तो आप उसके नुआंसेस जानते हैं. आपने पता किया है कि इसके पोटेंशियल बायर्स क्या हो सकते हैं, इसको खरीदने वाले और कौन से लोग हो सकते हैं, या फिर आप कौन से लोगों को खड़ा कर सकते हैं व्हेन बिजनेस सर्टेन बिजनेसेस में कंसेप्ट्स है जिसका मेजर कोई बहुत बड़ा मार्केट एरिया नहीं है, लेकिन जब आपको पता है कि उसको आप सब्स्टिट्यूट कर सकते हैं, या फिर यू नो दैट विच मार्केट which is presently available in the market, the business that is available, you can eat and you can make your share larger. That's more important, that you know that what you're doing all about it. Yeah. So please be clear about that, which is the first is TAM, SAM, SOM, if not replaceable TAM, SAM, SOM. अब अगर खड़ा नहीं है market तो किसको replace कर सकते हैं? And how much is the share of that particular market for you to understand? That is one thing. Second, इस particular business में जब हम agri business की बात करते हैं, let us all accept with the fact that we are an agrarian country. The demand of Indian goods is also going to remain in other markets. Other markets where the presence of fruits, vegetables, grains, pulses, rice, whatever is not available in their market. जहां पे वो available नहीं है, वो वहां पे जा सकता है. अब इस पर्टिकुलर मार्केट्स में कमोडिटीज, यहाँ से कमोडिटीज बहुत बेची जा रही है. कमोडिटीज का धंधा भी बहुत बड़ा है. जैसे राइस है, हम we are one of the biggest exporters of world because of basmati and non-basmati rice are two categories of rices we know, but do we know how much categories of rices are available? Do we know how many टाइप्स ऑफ राइसेस डू वी हैव? मुझे जितना पता है 128 टाइप के राइस मैंने सिर्फ नाम से जानने की कोशिश की है. उसके अलावा बहुत सारे टाइप के राइसेस अवेलेबल है. आप कोशिश कीजिए कि जब भी कोई पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट को आप जानने की या फिर कोई सर्विस को जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं इन एग्री बिजनेस, यू नो द verticals and horizontals of it. You are trying to understand how much deeper this business is. I'm so happy that I'm able to see people. This looks much interactive. And in case if you guys have any questions, please come back to me. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है that I'm able to see faces. Otherwise, it looks like you're talking to a wall. Yeah. So, the horizontal and the vertical lines of business. As I mentioned, agri business में आप जिस category को pick up किया है आपने, try that you are picking up the horizontals and the verticals very well, and try to know कि, let us say if you're doing a fertilizers business, what is a horizontal? How is your vertical? मतलब आप साथ साथ में क्या कर सकते हैं और उसी पर्टिकुलर कैटेगरी में डीपर क्या कर सकते हैं. इट इज कॉल्ड टी जोन. दिस टी जोन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज एज यू विल ग्रो इन बिजनेस, you will have to introduce products and services. If you're into one service, you will have to include and introduce more services. And if you're into one product, you will have to introduce more amount of products. And that one product जो आप मेन कर रहे थे, उसमें आपको डीपन करना पड़ेगा उसकी सर्विस को, उसके पर्टिकुलर नुआंसेस को. तो टी जोन जानना बहुत जरूरी है. Why T zone? Because if you have not understood your business's T zone, you may get lost in understanding the business after 4-5 years and would not exactly come to the right space of defining your vision very correctly. So T zone, and first was TAM, SAM, SOM with replaceable TAM, SAM, SOM if you're into a concept based business. I hope that T zone अगर आप define कर पा रहे हैं, and if you want a minute or so, I can break myself. आप लोग लिख सकते हैं आपका T zone. Do you want me to give you 1 minute break for that? The ones who are with face can say a yes and no. Okay, I'm not able to understand you guys, but ठीक है, I will continue. T zone आप लिख लीजिए. Third important thing when you have to understand the business in agri is what is our strength. The strength of हम ऐसी जगह पर बैठते हैं जहां पे हर जगह की एक स्ट्रेंथ होती है. If I'm sitting in Gujarat, I have strength in onions. Yeah. So we're doing onions. We do white onions. You can surf out. We are one of the biggest exporters of white onions in the world. Yeah. So that gives us a very big amount of strength to pick that product from my market and to sell it in other market. And that other market is not just India, but anywhere in the world. So just for your knowledge, even China is less competitive to us in terms of white onion. That is one strong product. So that means that, it is important to also pick a product from where you're belonging. Strength of your own hometown or wherever you belong, or to pick something from there is very important, because then you will have some extra things to serve your client when they ask you. If you're selling makhanas and if you sell from Darbangur, there will be a positive point, because you might get price parity, you might get procurement value, you might get good logistics, and you might get many vendors to pick from and sell it to multiple people. But then in that case, you have to sell it to people who can give you good price, because it's a commodity. So you will have to identify your SWOT. Strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Very simple to know, but very tough to understand. Very tough to understand. It looks very easy to know the strength of any business, but very tough to understand the opportunity of the business. Very tough to understand the weakness of that particular business. So, in case if you want time, which I think you should, you take 4 minutes from me and write your SWOT. आपने जो कैटेगरी के बिजनेसेस यहाँ पे लिखे हैं, अच्छा, someone very interestingly has shared 3,65,000 types of fries. Oh, bapre. This is crazy. So I didn't know that. See, I am also learning from you. मैंने 128 टाइप के सिर्फ नाम सुने थे और तभी मुझे लगा कि ये कुछ ज्यादा ही हो गया. So all the categories of businesses that you guys have written here, pick a SWOT. Right strengths. And don't be very enthusiastic about strengths. I'll be very honest. Be neutral. Be neutral from a third perspective person who's going to write your SWOT. ऐसा जो आप नहीं करने वाले हैं लेकिन आपको लगता है कि ये हो सकता है, और focus on weaknesses and opportunities more. Threats, weaknesses and opportunities जानने की कोशिश कीजिए. You know why? Because in the 4th and 5th year of business, you then understand कि हाँ, ये तो मैंने देखा ही नहीं था. This was not known to me. Acha, this is also not easy for you to understand ki initially kya hota hai. But as time passes, our visualization gets more cleared and the way we see things looks more deeper. The way we understand things looks more clearer. But वो clarity अगर वो 4 साल की अगर at least हमने time लगाया है कोई business start करने में, उसमें लगाई है, it'll be very interesting. Because you got time to calculate yourself, calculate your risk, calculate your time, calculate your energies, and most importantly calculate the age that you are in. So it is important to calculate your SWOT, and in that you please try to understand your competitors very well. Where are they positioning themselves? If there are any competitors, I'm sure there might not be many competitors in many businesses that are mentioned here. You guys are Gen Zs, most of you, and you do have a lot of interesting concepts to build. But concepts have to come in feasibility, and for feasibility is this whole exercise for. Nothing when it was not sown and was not sold could ever got understood. It is important to understand a product by getting is sold, and then मतलब गोबर भी बिक सकता है, धूल भी बेचते हैं लोग. There are water brands that has come down. Everything is getting sold. The whole point is about grilling the right idea and coming up with the right perspective of selling it well. Yes, so let's pick 4 minutes more. It is 6:29. We talk at 6:33. Please grill your SWOT well. And if there are any questions, in the meantime, you can keep putting down here. I will try that I answer post 4 minutes gets over. Yeah, and not disturbing you here. Thank you. Yes. I'll just read out the chats. Microgreens, Shweta has updated. So, Shweta, I was expecting you to not just analyze by giving it marks, but write down the strengths, write down the weaknesses, write down the opportunities, and write down the threats. You know why? Because either of this will give you some better understanding of how can you do it better. As yeah, Professor Rahul has mentioned, organic vegetables and fruits. The first strength is high demand in market. Weakness is very low productivity, which is very right. Um, O is no cultivation from all farmers. And threat is not identified it till. Also, here one more problem that comes with organic vegetables and fruits is that the current place we are in India sitting, it is very tough to talk about. The time is very tough to talk about organic vegetables and fruits in scale. So scalability has a very big problem, which Professor Rahul can really take care of. And then he has to analyze if he is known this much as SWOT. There are many other SWOTs that he will sit and grill himself. But let's say if you identified the areas well, then you define your own TAM-SAM-SOM, total area addressable market, serviceable addressable market, and what you want to do. Yeah. So इससे आपको पता चलता है कि इस बंदे की वीकनेस क्या हुई, इसके स्ट्रेंथ क्या है, इसको मैं how will I oversee or how am I going to see this particular threat as ये problem जब आएगा तो मैं इसको कैसे control करूंगा, and then take a step ahead and then talk about understanding it better. You know, there are layers when you are talking about a business to open, because A, when you opened it one, B, it from the straight day starts taking your energy and time, and C, you don't realize, but it takes away a whole lot of your life. So as I mentioned, SWOT, TAM-SAM SOM, I am still gonna read a little of things because time will not permit me to do more. Dr. Kalpit Shah has mentioned S Foundation. May I know for which category of product are you talking, sir? W is risk ability and tendency to divert in every new opportunity. I'm sorry, I'm not able to get the business type, so I need to connect well in that case. Yeah, so I think what I'm trying to say you more deeply is pick a category, have a more analysis, sit with your category kind of people, brainstorm your spots, have an understanding of your temps and so on, research your product well. More importantly, be the biggest criticizer of your service or product, because that will bring more better things from you. And most importantly, even from this, is analyze a solution which is scalable. Most important is scale. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, when after working for a year or so, if this product or service remains stuck to 1 and 2 and 10 and 50 buyers, you know, the revenue generation is always going to remain limited. So, and in that case, you will always be bursting out of growth, that you have finally understood the product and you want to grow now. So pick a place which can really have something which is very deep, which is scalable. I am just going to read one last thing, ma'am. If an individual is not from business background, how much it is difficult to convince his or her family as well as clients for investment? Very interesting question. Actually, how to start business from zero. So it just starts in your room. It just starts in your mind first, rather. It doesn't start from anyone. It starts from your own convinced nature. It starts from your mind. Then it starts. Then it starts in probably your room. and it doesn't need a lot of affirmations or positive updates. I think you can always discuss it with people who you feel can guide you well about things, or that can have strength of practical feasibility understanding. And it is also important. It is not wise to jump with a blind eye. But I think a mix of everything is needed. Passion plus a little of practical understanding plus scalable business knowledge. All of that, when is known in your mind, you have to take a little deep dive in getting it more clearer. We took almost 1 and 2 years to understand the alphabets of ABCD in small, and you take time to curve the alphabet well, and that time should be given well because you are still understanding it. The nitty-gritties of business always remains the same, but what effort you put in anything is purely the result that you get out of. If you are going wrong, you will get wrong results. If you're going right, and if that's where the slow and steady race is going to take time, it may take time and it will. But you should have the forecasted nature of understanding. The real truth, besides finding and cracking buyers, is nothing but solving a emotional solution. I am sure we read it everywhere in Instagrams, and I will agree with that fact कि अगर किसी की जिंदगी इजी कर सकते हैं या फिर उसको कुछ ऐसा दे सकते हैं जिसकी उसे शायद जरूरत हो सकती है या थी अबोव एवरीथिंग, तो वो सोचेगा कि मुझे परचेज क्यों करना है, rather उसी उसकी ये नीड है. So try that your product or category is the need of the future, not just currently. I mean, Google down what is the future, let's say after a decade, what are the kind of lives that we are gonna live, and what are the kind of people that you're gonna become, or how are our generations gonna be like. And then try to fit in yourself in a product which is all of it. I'm sure it takes anything to worthily bring together for 4 5 years. It's been 5 years to our business, and I think that I understand a little of it more better. And there is a lot more that I gain from a lot of people around. So that continuous learning uh, from peers, colleagues, elders, industrial mentors, investors, everyone. It's very necessary because you are right now fitting in that puzzle. Tomorrow, if you don't, you are the Nokia of all of them. You will not be able to survive longer, right? So be a bit of everything when initially it is, but then find your race, find your client, and just get focused ultra clearly on that. And then you don't when your strategy is working, see, that is one thing simple. When you know that a strategy that you gave 5 4 10 years is working, then you don't need any rocket science in proving anyone that what you're doing. But to reach there, it will take a good amount of your life, at least 4 5 years of hustle, a good amount of pain, and a big answer to give to society for what you're doing. So please be accurately correct for taking up a right time and knowing it from people that this particular project has value in the future terms from whom you believe rightly. And then efforts, hard work, consistency, all of these are non-negotiables that you have to. Yeah. Sneha wants to say something, but Sneha, I will have to take other questions. I will pick you at last. Ma'am, what are the threats and weaknesses you faced in your business to succeed? I'm still facing. I think the answer is, what are you still facing? Sometimes the challenges, so I think every day the challenge is different. Every day, what was thought as a problem gets different when the day starts, and you are really hustling around your own mindset. What works are important, what are the most important urgent problems to solve, and then what is the most nearest solution to bring around it. We can never fit into things exactly, but I think what I did understand out of all of this is like threats and weaknesses. It is still there. We cannot solve it so easily. It's 5 years, maybe another 5, 10 more years, there will be something else that will come. And it will be a part of life or a part of business or wherever you are. It will be like, it will be a part. ये खत्म हो जाएगा, something else is gonna come. So उसका रोल रहेगा कि आज ये सॉल्व करना है. But I think having a team of people who have good knowledge about their own um, areas or their own arenas will help you understand the problem more deeper, uh, focus on the solution side more clearer, and building up a strategy which has multiple options, not just A, but A, B, C, D, E. One didn't work, second didn't work, third. I'm sure, if you do this, there will be a sense of understanding you will come to know. If A, B, C, D didn't work, E will work. And you will get some sense of intuition that this is working somewhere. So pick that team, right, who you can talk to and who can again guide you and also get the company more clearer, because I think we work with people and we work with colleagues who can be experts in their field and then gradually solve a problem from their industry together. So initially it might take a little time in training them or in understanding them better and fitting them into company. But once they fit into the roles better, the only thing that you give to them is freedom, so that it becomes easier for you to analyze the issues better. Give them that amount of support that they have their authority to take that decisions even by themselves when needed. So yeah, the threats and weaknesses go hand in hand, but categories, people, consistency, and seeing problem as a solution first and finding ways to cater it well and being with right kind of uh, energies also is also very important. So yeah, I've started picking questions because it's already 6:45. I had to only add one point to the discussion that we did. So the first point was our TAM SAM song. The second point was our T zone, that was vertical and horizontal understanding. The third point was our SWOT, which is identifying the SWOT. Yeah. As I mentioned, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the most important point, which again I didn't want it to miss, besides giving answers, is scalability. You know what? Everything can remain aside. All your hard work can remain in healthy places if you see that business is scalable. And this is the most important factor. If today you are doing a 1 rupee business, but tomorrow you have that understanding that this business has a potential of 10, 12, 50, 6, 70, 100,000 CR, as much as you can think. And you can do that by yourself. And that strength, when you get out of it, is more important than convincing anyone in this world to do this. Even if it's a nut grilling idea, please do it. Yeah, it needs practical feasibilities. Please don't go by just believing it. You need to have your own analytics, right? You need to perform your sample correctly. You need to grill yourself very well. All of that is there. All of that has to be done. There are no, as I mentioned, no negotiables to do. But if you have that confidence within yourself, and confidence doesn't come just in a day, or it doesn't wipe off in a day, it has to be a consistent confidence. You should be a person who should be capable enough to take all the risks. That consistency comes from there. uh, Able to take decisions which are very tough, and then good for not good for you but good for company. Sometimes not with you but supporting your company, and it always is men versus company, and it's always for the company. So even I work for my company, I'm probably an owner, but that display of ownership doesn't or shouldn't come, because you are still a part and everyone else is supporting you to be there. So please be clear about it, that scalability has a huge amount of role above everything that you're doing. If you see scale is present, and if you see that market has a good amount of empty place, please get into it and please start doing small things. It's not important to pick tough finances or loans, and start it with basics. Understand the most cheapest way to do or start the business in the most efficient manner. And all of this, when you say scalability, has to be with systems. So समय जब आता है कि when you've understood कि कुछ काम हो सकता है, pick a place where you can, build systems, make team out of your own people, and can, you know, have every zone work with one person dependency. And then, you will be the most important decision maker of more important things, which is at that point of time needed. So scalability, which is very important, with systems is also a wise thought to give you when entrepreneurship is right now spoken. Those were the 4 points which I wanted to talk to you. The 4 minutes that I right now took were the 4 minutes which I had to take after, and I had to talk on the answers, but I'm sorry for the replacement. I will now answer your questions, and I will try that I be specific as possible, and you can keep answering. We have some 10-12 minutes still to go. What is the present threat you're dealing with right now? I think the threat itself, as I mentioned, is the threat of competition that we are sitting into. Everywhere, when we talk about India, the competition has a big nuance role. And the threat also doesn't come from like bigger players; it comes from the smallest players, because a they have um, they have no systems in place. B, they have no nothing in overheads to touch, and that is why they can cater very easily, and they can actually adulterate your market so easily. So competition has a big threat always, and that calculating competition is uh, sometimes not possible, because we were doing business before 5, 10, 50, 20, 40 years, and someone has come, jumped, and started picking up market which was ours or was made by our effort and blood and money. But he's done it. Now you have to keep finding ways to deepen yourself with the company or your prospects or your clients more better. And relation also plays a very big role when competition and threats like competition are. So please make sure that um, it is not important to sit in laptop for hours. It is important to go in market. It is important to meet people, and these people will be as simple as you see, but these people will see your consistency. They will see how are you approaching your product, how serious are you after the first meeting gets over. Like I said, it doesn't start anywhere when you pitch. It starts where you are done with pitching. What you do, how consistently you follow up with them, how good you are in making them remember you, all of that. So threat is competition, but to overcome threats are your relationship angles, your way of dealing, your service quality, pricing, all of it in a bunch together, and asking your client if you are able to justify all of their demands very well. If not, hearing them out, meeting them well, and just for no reason understanding that, yeah, you have a place in the company. This much also is important to do at least once in 3 months. So yeah, reaching out to them without any purpose and seeing if they need any of your support. All of this can, cater to meet or try to get more personally connected. If I cannot do it, my team is made so well to do that. So that they can reach out to their clients very well. And sometimes it's not just talking about business, it's also talking things here and there. So yeah, that also should be, it should be made easy to have a connection with the client. My whole purpose is so that when this threat comes to your own client, he weighs the relationship and the bond that has been made with you, and does wants to give business with all due personal relation, and keep you updated that I'm interested if little of your terms can change. And there's a win when you do this. Please make sure of that. How an entrepreneur should be. Very tough question. Very tough question. My 7 minutes or probably 70 minutes can go, but I'll try to answer more briefer. So I'll tell you about my story. I come from a small town, and if you know Reliance, you know Reliance's main factory, which is in Khavdi. I am just 36 kilometers away from there. Brought up there, and did pursue my education into a little better city from there after my graduation. So was good in studies, good with things. But then lately, as that city was not sufficing with what my expectations went, I moved to for career to a city that I'm right now doing this business. It's been almost 19 years of being out of my own house and 12 years of being in the city. It takes a lot of you to understand what should be done, what should not be done. And believe me, I still get guided every single day to have made mistakes. I don't know how do I answer what an entrepreneur should be, but I will tell you what it should not be like first. Uh, Consistency, as I mentioned even in the previous times, is non-negotiable. Above everything, there's a day that comes with all the mental chaos. And to remain sane, to remain healthy, to answer that, you must have deep amount of not just presence, but deep amount of study into that segment. And that only comes if you belong from a certain knowledge or experience of there, or you are doing it by yourself. So first 5 years are the most challenging years of anyone's business, and the most toughest times of life. Like this five has been actually the same to me also. So to be an entrepreneur is to really live life the other side, at least the entertainment part, maximum time the other side, and prioritize this over everything. If you know that your focus for the rest decade is this, please be clear that all the socials can be side lined. Important events can only be if like detailedly mentioned. And what you do need to do is just be present every single day. Fight with that consistent solution or problem every single day. And one day you will have that in hand, that you know what are the problems, and you will come with a solution of that. Acha, the problems will then change, and the solutions are also to be found in another problems. But I'd say that that consistent nature or a trait of problem solving attitude will do that. An openness to build not just a business but a scalable business is also very important, because you alone cannot fight the battles which all of business gives you. Everyone's sector and everyone's category has a different battle to fight. So please make people your biggest strength. I'll still mention that. And that people connecting attitude, or a easy way of gelling with people, a good relation with your own clients and colleagues is a very must know how to do. There are many traits, I honestly say. I changed my life as it was before. I used to do I used to do job for 2 years. And what was life? You get up, you go for job, you come, you chit chat, you eat good food, you explore the city, and you rest for the day. That was all, which was all about it. If I talk to you about my today's schedule, nothing is consistently known of, at least except the few schedules that I know that I had to be here. Changes, everything is really changing. Everything needs to have ask for different kind of attention. So that vulnerability is important to cater when you are in entrepreneurship. Acha, I'm not trying to scare, but I'm trying to be neutral and realistic that if you are picking one business or just getting into entrepreneurship, try that you fit into a trait which people can get inspired of. Not for them to get inspired, but your day can start at a specific routine. You can have a workout at a specific time. Your work can have at a specific times. Your schedules have systems. Your people understand uh, when are your available times. All of it. If that is made, the company will start operating in a way where a system is known कि इस टाइम में ये होता है, इस टाइम में ये होता है, इस सिस्टम में ये है, ऐसे में ऐसा है, और उसके लिए बहुत एफर्ट डालना पड़ता है. उसके लिए we have to grill the kind of problems that will come your way or even our way, and try that you get an answer which is favorable and neutral in perspective and supports them and company both together. Because see, a company cannot work in selfish nature, nor can owners. Always a giver's nature and a giver's attitude works. When they see people, growing, that's where company grows healthily. When they see people happy about themselves, their work, the way they're appreciated, the way they're satisfied about what they do, that's where they put more, and that's where they're connected deeper, and they make company a part of their own life more together. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, 7 minutes are less. I'm so sorry that this answer took a lot of your time, but there are so many things that entrepreneur should not be, and more of so many things that he should or she should be. There's no Bible of answer, I'd be honest, but this is all my learning. Year by year, I keep understanding my weaknesses and would keep working on myself better. Day one, I was somewhere. Day 1500th, I'm somewhere. Yep. So it's been 7, and I will just answer the last question. Yeah. Thank you, Rituraj. I hope you could get all the pains in my eyes. So I'll take the last question. Ma'am, in India, 90% of population is either middle or lower class. So it is important to keep the price of products reasonable. How it is possible to make a genuine product with clean labels and maintain nutritional value, same time being a profitable firm? It's a good question. I will answer it by breaking it in two pieces. So the first question that you already justified in yourself is that yeah, we belong from a place which is highly populated with middle and lower class people. So we are talking about a massy product and not a classy product first. How is it possible to make a genuine product with clean label and maintain nutritional value? See, Lipsa. Lipsa, it is tough to make a completely clean label product because nothing in agribusiness works without shelf life, and to give a product a clean shelf life is also tough, right? So you will have to understand which product are you talking about. What are the available natural substitutes to minus the presently added preservatives, artificial flavors, or chemical agents by your competitor? There are brands who are doing clean label business and have won hearts because when I'm using that or eating that product, in that case, because we talk food, eating that product or trying to my psyche is like ये अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है बिकॉज इसको मैंने देखा है कि क्लीन लेबल है, लेकिन उस क्लीन लेबल को क्लीन करने में बहुत एफर्ट जाता है। उस एफर्ट के लिए जब आप एक स्टार्टअप है तो इनिशियली तो वो क्लीन लेबल बहुत अच्छा लगता है, लेकिन जब उसको स्केल करना पड़ता है तो क्लीन लेबल नहीं रहता है, बिकॉज स्केल के साथ dynamics of production changes, dynamics of marketing changes, and so does dynamics of psychologically putting the product changes. But what I do suggest you is that nothing is impossible if you're working on something like this. Bullseye, that you picked a question like this. The answer should be working more deeply on knowing what your product category is and serving. Even if when you are selling a clean label, you can charge a little higher, I'll be honest. But because you are clean label, the justification of, not marketing, but positioning the product should be done very well. And you should be that. What you are doing should be present. Like, let's say our products doesn't have anything's added, like any preservatives added. And when clients does see, they say that how does this stay for a year? I say that because this is dry. And then they say they no, they don't smell like don't have anything added. I commit them and I say that I'll give you maybe product for the lifetime free when you say that there's anything added. That's the confidence that I put. It's because I know my clean label. Yeah. But then when you know it that, and when the whole world is asking you this, you should be sure of your answers. And if you are, then do commit them and make them a challenge to try your product in such a way. So yeah, answer one, be that one person who is working on clean, but it's really tough. I'll again say you that. B, work on scalable clean labels, not just when you are a crowd serving 200 good chocolate people. You're a chocolatier and doing good cakes. No, that's not scalable. Sorry, that's not possible. Think of serving 1,000 chocolates in 8 hours and then say that you are a clean label, and think it in that way that I'm going to reach there together. Yeah. So scale plus clean label, while you do all of it together, सोचना पड़ता है, बहुत सारे answers है इसके, ingredients सोचने पड़ते हैं. You have to hire your team of NPD who can who can make a product which supports sustainability, which supports clean label, which supports all these GI tags and all. Yeah. But yeah, be easy in trying to earn profits in the initial times. Be important to earn you know earn a name which says that ये अच्छा बनाते हैं, ये clean है, मैंने try किए हैं, because a word of mouth of one product can help you easily. There are many questions that I have been asked. Okay. Yeah. ठीक है. I think this was the last answer, as I mentioned. Otherwise, it would take more time and I shouldn't do that. The other speaker would be waiting. Thank you so much, audience. I had one of the wonderful sessions with Just Agriculture. To keep me connected, you can get me added to LinkedIn with my name. And I'll also just change my surname, which is not present here right away. And you can keep me in touch and keep me question also there. I've just changed my whole name. This is the same name where I am on LinkedIn, and I will try that I can help you with answers which have some connectivity with me. Otherwise, I had a wonderful time with all of you. I'm still reading messages from a lot of people. Thank you, Dr. Avinash. The people who have thanked me. Thank you, Professor Rahul. Thank you, Lipsa. Thank you, Miral. I hope I spelled right, Miral. Prerana. Thank you. There is Shweta. Thank you. Kirtika. Thank you. Athar. Thank you so much. Sneha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, all of you. I hope that sessions are fine, but I hope that you take some knowledge and this remains with you whenever you grill or want to get into entrepreneurship. And I will try that I support you wherever possible. Please stay in touch with me via LinkedIn. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your inspiring entrepreneur journey and valuable insights on agribusiness, leadership, and innovation. Your experiences and practical perspectives have been truly motivating for all of the participants. So, on behalf of Just Agriculture Education Group and all the participants of AGROVISION 2.0, I extend our heartfelt gratitude for your time, guidance, and encouragement. We are truly honored by your presence and contribution to today's program. Thank you once again, ma'am. We wish you continued success in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, as we conclude day 2 of AGROVISION 2.0, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all our distinguished speakers, guests, participants, and organizing team members for making today's sessions highly informative, engaging, and inspiring. The knowledge, experiences, and insights shared today have undoubtedly broadened our perspectives and strengthened our commitment towards innovation, sustainable agriculture, entrepreneurship, and inclusive development. I hope each one of you is taking back value learnings that will contribute to your academic, professional, and personal growth. Thank you all for your enthusiastic participation and continued support. Have a wonderful evening ahead. Stay safe, stay and keep learning. We look forward to welcoming you again tomorrow for day 3 of AGROVISION 2.0 with another exciting lineup of experts and enriching discussions. Thank you, everyone. Good evening and have a great night, and see you tomorrow. Thanks.